Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order our regular City Council meeting for June 1st, 2021. Can't believe it's June already. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
So, thanks, everyone. Roll call, Sylvia.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
Council President Rosner.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Garland.
Here.
Councilor Young.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
And Councilor Scott.
He's here.
Councilor Scott.
Muted.
He's here. Doug.
I'm here.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Approval of agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Kim and Russell. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent agenda. Today we have 3 items. The approval of the 2018-2021 City Council meeting minutes. Resolution 2021-029, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with VSS International, Inc. for the 2021-22 slurry seal program. And then resolution 2021-030, authorizing the city manager to sign an intergovernmental agreement with Washington County for design work for Arrow Street.
I move consent.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Renee and Russell. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of approving the consent as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Citizen comments. Sylvia, do we have any citizen comments? First,
Mayor and Council, we do not have citizen comments tonight.
thank you, Sylvia. We have one presentation today. We love to highlight outstanding young adults in our community, and today I want to recognize one that achieved the rank of Eagle Scout recently. Alexander Sperling is not able to be here with us today. We did not get details yet on what he did for his Eagle Scout project, but the tasks and requirements to get the rank of Eagle Scout is rigorous, and then add on to the top of that, trying to do it during a pandemic, I'm sure made it that much harder. So we're certainly excited to present a certificate of achievement to Alexander T. Sperling on behalf of the city of Sherwood and the Sherwood City Council. We congratulate you on your outstanding achievement of attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. And Alexander, you'll get a copy of the certificate sent to you, and we'd love to hear about your project. We'd invite you to tell us about it, or just give us a narrative, and we'll share it with the community at a future meeting. Does anybody know Alexander on council by chance? Okay. I have not met him either. Next on our agenda is public hearings. One public hearing this evening. Sylvia?
Council, the Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to hear testimony on Ordinance 2021-006, amending Chapter 15.04 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2021 Oregon Building Code updates, and Chapter 8.12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2020 updates to 12th Valley Fire and Rescue Fire Code. This is the second hearing on this ordinance. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff sent a staff report, questions, if any, by the council for staff. We will then consider written testimony, and Mayor and Council, we have not received any written testimony for this ordinance. We will then close the public hearing, final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any. This is the second hearing before the City Council on this ordinance. A decision may be made by the council at the close of this hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain. If the matter is continued to a date certain, this is the only notice of that date you will receive.
Thank you, Sylvia. Julia, will you be stepping in?
Yes, thank you. Yes, Scott had a vacation scheduled, and I told him that he did not need to come back for this since this is the second reading and there weren't really that many questions in the first round. I told him I would cover it, but yeah, basically it's the second reading. We were presented this 2 weeks ago where Scott explained that we need to update the municipal code to reference the updated state building codes, as well as the at the request of TVFNR, updating the reference to the fire codes and the fire code provisions adopted by TVFNR. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but we respectfully recommend that you adopt the ordinance.
Thank you, Julia. First, Sylvia noted that there are no comments submitted from the community, so we'll close the public hearing portion of the second hearing of this ordinance. Questions for Julia? I got one. So Julia, and I maybe I should have brought this up 2 weeks ago, but does the fire district follow generally a similar or statewide fire code, or are they able to deviate from this a state fire code with their language? Do you know?
I believe that it's that they follow generally a state fire code, and then they refine it more. So I don't know that I would consider it a deviation, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
So most likely that there's a statewide code, and the local fire districts or
Right.
fire departments in a city have the authority to make it more restrictive. They cannot
Right.
be less restrictive.
Right.
Any other questions? Discussion on the proposed ordinance, or a motion on the proposed ordinance? Remember, this is one of those that you read caption and
I move that we read caption and adopt ordinance 2021-006, amending chapter 15.04 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2021 Oregon Building Code updates in chapter 8.12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2020 updates to Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue's Fire Code.
Second.
so
I'm sorry, Mayor, who is that second from?
Tim.
That was me, Tim.
Thank you, thank you. Ordinance 2021-006, amending chapter 15.04 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2021 Oregon Building Code updates and chapter 8.12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code to reflect the 2020 updates to Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue's Fire Code. Councilor Scott, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Griffin?
Aye.
Councilor Browse?
Aye.
Councilor Young?
Aye.
Councilor Garland?
Aye.
Council President Rosner?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Julia, and council.
Thank you.
Kristen, city manager report.
Good evening. I just have one item from me this evening. I asked Craig Sheldon if he could give us an update on the water feature for anyone who might be out there listening or watching. Just update us on how things have been going and what to do if there's any issues. Craig? Craig, if you're talking, you're muted. There you go.
I'm here. Good evening. I just wanted to follow up. We did have a couple little issues over the weekend of the water feature shutting off. I would encourage folks to, after hours, call Public Works at 503-625-5722. That way you can get a person to get back with you so we know that the water feature is down. because we don't have any way to control that. We do have people will start this weekend working weekend work. So we'll have staff in here during the day. They check that 3 times a day, as well as the one at the cannery and as well as the one at Snyder Park. But what happens is when the chemicals get low, it'll just automatically shut off because we don't want anybody getting sick. And it's a great feature to have, but also can be a pain for if you come down there to play on the in the water and it's shut off. It does take a while to build back up and then it'll turn back on. Usually we have to come and do some stuff to it to get it back on. But that's really the reason why is there's some setting points that if it goes below a setting point, it'll turn off. And if it goes above a setting point, it'll turn off. So it's very sensitive, the one at the cannery. The one at the Snyder Park's a little bit different setup, but it doesn't really have the water feature that it shoots in the air anymore. So it's not as critical. And you can actually get by once a day just treating that one at Snyder Park, besides the trees and removal of leaves and stuff. So mainly it's just because it's sensitive. That's why it shuts off. So any questions on that?
I had a question, Craig. I haven't been a cannery. Is the works number posted out there somewhere?
There's a sign out there that has a number.
There's a sign. Okay. That's
And Craig,
helpful.
that same phone number, would that be used for anyone else who to call for any other public works type of things, bathrooms that maybe are in need of urgent cleaning or overflowing garbages, anything like that, that maybe would require some public works attention?
Yeah, if it's on the weekends, starting this weekend, normally we start Memorial Day weekend, working weekend, but we do not have any seasonals yet because we don't have any applications besides 3 of them that can't start until the middle of the month. So we have to shift that around with our full time plus get our work done during the week too. So there's some trade-offs there, but starting this weekend, we'll have somebody in on the weekends. And then even if they call that number during the day, it'll either go to somebody will get it. We don't monitor Facebook. Even the staff during the day, somebody lets us know if it's on there. We don't monitor it. We either email operations at city.sherwood.gov or we actually get phone calls, and that's how we usually respond. So we don't really respond off Facebook unless somebody lets us know. So
I wouldn't think you guys would be monitoring social media. I think it's more people are chit chatting on there, and then as counselors see it. So that's why then we email, but we will direct them to call that number from now on.
Yeah, during the day, we have people that monitor Facebook, but it's more on their own time when they get on at lunch or something like that. But we don't have somebody that just does that. So I would encourage.
Nor should you.
And we can get somebody out to take a look at stuff. That's our emergency number for water and everything else.
So Craig, I have a question, a thought, and a suggestion. The question is it just that the chemical supply tanks are getting low, or the chemical balance in the water gets off?
Chemical balance in the water gets off.
So is there a second question then? Do we need to look at maybe if we're going out there quite a bit to check up on that, I mean, that's, all summer long, that's a lot of hours we're spending. Do we need to look at improved equipment that can maintain the balance without as much manual labor?
We still have to clean the strainers and everything else that's there. So, but yes, as far as there's probably some improved equipment, but there's still some issue. And the problem with all the equipment in the ground, it's a confined space. So then we run into OSHA requirements. You can't have one person in a vault and with chemicals and stuff like that. So we have to have 2 people here on the weekends, no matter what. So there's other things than just the chemical imbalance. It's making sure the strainer's cleaned, and there's some other stuff that goes on. But what I would like to see is some sort of a SCADA system for it that actually allows us to see when the levels get to us. The person on call can actually see a level when it gets down and gets close and notifies us. No different in our water system.
Right.
So
that's a great idea. I was also going to suggest for future conversations, the city really needs a 311 app for citizens to report stuff like that.
Hey, Craig, kudos to the staff, though. We took Kyson down there on Saturday, and a couple of the guys were down there checking the water and everything, and we're on it. And I didn't see the number. I don't know if maybe it's coming off the sign or not. So I actually contacted Kristen, but anyway, the staff were doing a good job when I did see them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's been kind of we've had to put more work into it this year to get it operational since it's been down for almost 1.5 to 2 years. So it's been a little bit more of an issue getting it going this year. So some stuff got rusted and some other stuff. So, but anyways, it's operational. It should be 9 to 9, except when farmers market's there. I think on Saturdays it starts at 2:30 or 2:45, something like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Craig. Thank the team too.
Yeah, the kids were certainly enjoying it every time I went by.
Yes, thank you, Craig. I appreciate all the work your crew has put into everything. Are there any other questions for me or any of the team that's here tonight? That's all I have.
Keep everyone safe in the heat. Staff can't be used to 95-degree weather. So I'm sure you're keeping them hydrated.
Craig, is that a Boilermaker sign in your background?
Muted.
Oh, you're muted, Craig.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Craig.
I think he said it's his wife's.
You're good.
It is my wife's. That's one thing she gets in the man's room is the Boilermaker sign. And
Did you graduate from Purdue?
kind of the colors don't match with everything else, but we'll let it go.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm a Hoosier, so
I see
they were our rivals.
Yeah.
Can you put the Beavers flag above the Boilermaker sign?
Yeah, no kid. That's her one thing up there, so.
It's called peace and harmony. Keep the peace and harmony at home.
That's right.
Any other questions for Kristen or her team? Great. Council announcements. Anyone like to make announcements?
I'll go.
Great.
Because I saw Russell reaching for his microphone button.
I'm already unmuted.
I don't really have any announcements, and I wasn't in town this weekend, but I understand we got our flags hung up throughout Old Town. And so I thank again for staff for doing that. I just think that's a really great thing that we can do on our Memorial Days, probably 4th of July, Veterans Day, or whichever days we're doing it. Other than that, all is quiet on my assignment. So
I'll go. I followed Councilor Young all around Boise this weekend as we ended up in the same city. I think she went to Freak Alley the day after I went to Freak Alley. I didn't make it to Shoshone Falls, but it was great. It was great weather. It was just perfect. It was nice. And I don't really have anything to report except that the Robin Hood Festival is still scheduled for September. That's what we're working towards. That's it. Thanks.
I truly don't know that there is such a thing as Freak Alley in Idaho.
Yeah, it's an alley that has a lot of artists that do painting, right, Kim? It's all the way up down
really
this alley.
awesome. Mayor, if you get on Facebook, I posted a lot of pictures.
Yes, you did.
Or I'll show you on my phone next time I see you.
I think it's an upgrade from Bubblegum Alley or Wall in Seattle.
Oh, this is beautiful artwork.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
All right. Other announcements?
I'll
jump in. All right then. Planning Commission had a work session last week, kind of getting a download on some of the work they're doing on developing residential design standards. The work will continue. There's information about that on the planning portion of the website, so there'll be further engagements and work sessions and whatnot as we move forward. This coming week, a week from today, next Tuesday, Planning Commission will have a public hearing on a proposed development in Old Town. So if you're interested in that, going in potentially on Pine and 2nd Street. So if you're interested in that, you want to check out that public hearing. If you want to comment, you got to submit it about 24 hours in advance, just like with council. So if you have public testimony, you want to make sure you have an opportunity to do that. So again, all that information's on sherwoodoregon.gov under planning. You can look at all that and submit your testimony.
Thanks, Doug. Other announcements? Nothing from Sean?
No,
Renee?
not really. I'll pass this week. Just everybody keep doing what you're doing. Stay cool. Stay safe.
Yeah, I don't really have anything either. Both the senior center or the senior advisory committee and library advisory committee, we haven't met yet this month, but both entities are working on serving their community and continuing to work on the opening plan. So doing great work.
Awesome.
I will add, since Russell mentioned Boise, I don't know if he saw, so they have a street that's closed down that they closed down for due to COVID, and their restaurants are able to spill out onto they have wide sidewalks in Boise. I mean, they are wide.
Yeah.
But then they've closed down the street for that. So they're using the orange barricades, the plastic barricades, but they also put these permanent structures in the street that can go down into the street flat if they ever decide to, to open the street back up. And then they're like barricades that pop back out of the street. So it's kind of a nice temporary thing that you don't have to have these plasticky orange barricades out. So I asked them if it was temporary. She says, well, they did it because of COVID. We're hoping they will do it permanently. So we'll see, but it's nice to see other cities also have done what we're doing on Railroad Street. So
Yeah, I agree.
Tim, anything?
Get your vaccinations. We're getting closer to 70% for anyone watching. I think I looked today, I think we're at 65.8% of those over 16. So we're only 4.2% away. So get your vaccinations so we can reopen the state.
Yeah, Washington County is second highest vaccinated county in the state at 68.9. So thanks to everybody who's done that and keep doing it. Maybe if it has to be us and it has to be the other counties that drag the rest of the state above 70%, let's do it. So
You're here. Great. So the city council and the citizen members of the budget committee, they finished their work last week, advancing the 21-22 budget to city council for later this month. A week ago, I enjoyed my first big community gathering event. It was awesome. It was outside. It's still Olson Park, crowning the Maid Marian for 2021. All these wonderful young women, the Maid Marian Court and the Junior Maid Marian Court, and family and friends that gathered at Stella Olson. It was awesome. Felt normal again. So other than that, we're having meetings with our rep Courtney Neron, talking about ARPA funds that she's got some allocation for, because she's pledged in a bill to put $1 million towards broadband and business support between Wilsonville, Sherwood, and King City. Because each state rep has $2 million to allocate following ARPA guidelines, and each state senator has $4 million. State Senator Thatcher has designated a little over $600,000 to go towards the Sherwood broadband and broadband in general between Sherwood and Wilsonville. So there's some exciting ARPA discussions with those folks. We'll see how that goes. And it means nothing until the state actually passes a bill making those awards. So more to come with that, but very interesting and exciting so far. Anything else for the good of the order?
are we sure we don't have any more meetings? This is really early.
Well, we had a half-hour work session, half-hour meeting, and it is hot outside, so enjoy the good weather. If you like this kind of weather, I like the sunny weather. I do not like 95. So I am not, Renee loves this weather, but there are a few more days of good weather that's going to cool off. So stay hydrated. Don't get sunburnt. Wear sunscreen if you're pale like me. And until next time.